Hey, welcome to Thought Leader Live. So glad that you're able to join us this evening. If we're meeting for the first time, my name is Chris Pyron, and I am super excited to be here this evening. We've got a couple of amazing leaders in the church production community lined up to have some great conversation. If you've got some questions happening already, we've seen some trickling into the chat. Keep those coming in. That's awesome. I'm here sitting with these guys. I'll introduce them here in just a minute. But before we do, I want to introduce my counterpart and partner in crime, who's supporting us over on the B stage and watching the chat, Mr. Daryl Sutton.
All right. Thanks, Chris. Hey, guys. Welcome tonight. We are so excited to be here with you. We are in amazing Nashville, Tennessee tonight. And I want to set just some of the ground rules real quick for those of you that maybe haven't been part of one of our TL Live events on how this works. We are distributing this to both Instagram as well as YouTube. Feel free to watch in either one of those platforms. However, this is an AMA style event. So if you want to ask questions to ask our guests who are here tonight, you'll need to actually do that through YouTube. Unfortunately, Instagram just doesn't get to the stage here. So if you want to ask a question that we can respond to here during the event tonight, please skip over to YouTube and jump in. It's tl_connect.com. So I think that's all I've got for you. And with that, I'm going to throw it back to you, Chris.
Awesome. Well, like I said, I'm super excited to be here this evening with some amazing leaders in the church production world. So sitting immediately to my right is Mr. Griffin McCravy from Church of the Highlands. So
What's
glad
up?
You're here, man. Thank you for joining.
Of course,
tonight.
yeah.
I'm super excited. You did this a little over a year ago with us, the very first one of these we ever did.
Sure did,
And we
yep.
were here in Nashville.
Yep, sure were.
For that one.
We were outside, then we were inside.
That's right.
It's a
Yeah,
long story.
we had the had that thunderstorm thing spin up. And it's like, I guess we're doing this inside.
Yeah,
and we've done them inside ever since, just out of self-preservation and sanity.
Exactly.
So, and then at the other end of the couch, we've got Mr. Kyle Bowman from Journey Church.
What's up?
Glad you're here, buddy.
How are you?
I'm doing awesome. I'm so excited about this. So, real quick, I'll give you guys a quick minute to introduce yourself. So, Kyle, why don't you go ahead and start?
Yeah, sure. Kyle Bowman. I'm the production director at Journey Church in Lake Worth, Florida. First off, shout out to the chat. The chat is the best.
Man, I saw the chat lighten up a little bit. Looked like there was some stuff directed at you right there. So.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on in there, but it's the best. But yeah, so I get to look after all things production at Journey Church. We have 3 campuses down in South Florida, and it is awesome. We get to look after all 3 of the kids, audio, video, and lighting. And so
all 3 of the kids.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. I love every minute of it, and God is just moving in special ways, and it's awesome to be a part of. And so, yeah,
Cool.
Glad to be here.
Yeah, glad you're here, man. Griff, what about you?
Yeah, I'm Griffin McCravy, Birmingham, Alabama. We call it Birmingham, Alabama.
Birmingham.
Wow.
I am one of 2 broadcast lighting directors. So, we've got a broadcast location and then satellite campuses. So we've got some staff that are at our location, some staff that are centrally helping to support what we do. But yeah, excited to be here.
Yeah, that's awesome. Cool. Well, as we get things rolling here this evening, and we're letting the chat fill up with questions and stuff.
Howdy, chat.
Yep. Hey, chat. Keep the questions coming for sure. I want to ask you guys a question just to get things going. So, what's something that a lot of people don't know about you? Like, do you have a particular hobby that you like to do?
Kyle, you were just telling me about that one thing that you do that nobody knows about.
Do you like to bake wedding cakes in your off time?
yeah.
Stuff like that?
Yeah,
Or is there something along those lines that you like to do? Or?
No, I really like to golf.
Okay.
It's my boy.
I'm not
Are you good?
the best at it.
Okay. All right.
But
But
do
I
you
love
have
doing
fun?
it. Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's all that matters.
It's the best.
Yeah.
But I love to golf. I love to cook. Shout out to the Blackstone users out there. But yeah, golf and cooking are things that I enjoy doing.
What's your favorite thing to cook on the Blackstone?
We were actually just talking about this. I think it's probably fried rice or steak.
There you
One
go.
of the two.
Okay.
Or both. Who knows? Feeling adventurous.
You could do steak fried rice.
Maybe.
There you go. So, Griffin, what about you? What's a little known fact about Griffin
Yeah,
McCravy?
Griffin.
Little known fact. I enjoy scuba diving. Haven't
That's a
gotten to do it
unique
in a
thing.
while. Me and a couple buddies at the church, we actually all got certified together a couple years ago. It was actually after a Sunday message at our church, which is a little bit of a long story how that turned into scuba diving. But do that, play golf as well. Also
Yeah.
not very good, but have fun. So
Yeah.
What's the most unique spot you've ever done a dive?
most unique spot. we attempted to do a dive in Key Largo, Florida. It's a old ship that was sunk to make a coral reef. But kind of the way the water is there, it's right on the edge of like a 500 or 600 foot drop off.
Oh, wow.
So the currents that kind of go up over the top of the shelf over the ship are just crazy unpredictable. So, and you have to be a certain level of certification to even go on this type of dive. So we actually did a week-long trip, and we got certified to the next level so that we could do this dive. And we get everything filled out so that we can go, do this dive. We get on the boat, and the first thing they tell us, they're like, the weather here at the dock is never what it is out there. So this is what we call big boy diving. And that was when I started to get a little nervous. I won't lie to you, chat. I'll be honest with you. Thought I might be cooked a little bit, but they were like, this is big boy diving. We're going to go out there, figure it out. We'll get out there. We'll assess what the conditions are there at the location. Now, granted, this is like a 2-hour boat ride, like wide open into the ocean. I mean, in the middle of nowhere. So we get out there, and the buoy that the boat ties off to is like already starting to like sink below the water, like waves pulling it down.
Oh, wow.
And they were like, if that's happening up here, down there at the boat, it's legit. And so the whole boat, we all get in the water, and as a group, we got, I forget how far, like 20 or 30 feet down, not far in the ground. We were going to about 110 feet. So we get, maybe a fifth of the way there. And one of the guys in our group like gets his mask blown off, and it's like sideways on his head, and everybody's just like holding onto this, mooring rope, trying to work their way down to the ship. We never made it.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. It was the most interesting place I've never been. Still didn't get to see it yet.
Oh, man.
Did you see anything cool?
Yeah, I saw a lot of things. Did a couple of shipwrecks. Also did the Christ statue of the Abyss. That's
yeah,
in the ocean.
yeah.
That was super cool. We did that on our first day of the trip when we had not yet done a dive in the ocean. So, and our certification started the next day for advanced diving. And so we did this little trip the first day that we got there on our own. So we had never been diving anywhere except a rock quarry. And we were just like, we'll just hop in the ocean and figure it out.
And just see what happens.
Yeah. I mean, I'm here to tell the story. So,
Wow. Look at that.
Apparently it worked.
yeah.
So cool. Well, looks like the chat is filling up with some questions. So, Daryl, what's the first question we've got teed up over there?
Yeah, all right. So, Brother Phil, he asked a question. What's everyone's favorite must-have, infrastructure item?
Infrastructure item. Okay.
I feel like that could go a lot of places.
Yeah, that's true.
In this world, I feel like kind of where we're at technology-wise, maybe network related.
Yeah.
I mean, anything network tester. I mean, even just a solid network to start with. I mean, so many things are, infrastructure network based now, whether that's lighting gear or, Dante controller, all that kind of stuff. So I don't know about an item, but I would encourage people, like, if you haven't taken the dive into it, maybe start. Be a lifelong learner, I guess.
Yeah.
Try to do a good job of learning new technology and new idea and things like that. So, sorry, Bailey, I didn't 100% answer that, but that's my thoughts. You got anything?
I don't know. I think the infrastructure piece is an interesting topic because, like you said, everything is always shifting and everything's always changing. So there's a lot of things that you have to know and to be good at, essentially.
Yeah.
But I think, I'll start with the basics. Just having some good cable. Not all cables are created equal.
That's true.
And so having quality cable, having good cable around is probably what I would say. Just bring it back to the basics. Just let it rip.
You hit on something interesting that I want to unpack a little bit more. So technology is moving at such an advanced pace. It seems like it's just getting faster and faster all the time, right? So how do you stay up on the latest and the greatest stuff? How do you stay ahead of the curve enough to still be more than functional and proficient in your role?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, I try to not get locked into like just what I do or what my organization does.
Yeah.
I try to do a good job of knowing 2 or 3 people around in the area that I'm in that are doing things differently than I'm doing it. Different isn't a bad thing; it's just different.
Yep.
So I just try to do a good job of being in relation, knowing people that do the things I do.
Yeah.
In similar areas. similar sizes even, but really just to try to stay aware of what other people are using. Watch lots of concerts, lots of shows, go to shows, enjoy, live music, the atmosphere, just to try to, like you were saying, just stay on top of things that are happening. And then, of course, the obvious things, reading magazines and, digests, talking about all the new gear coming out, and then trade shows. Trade shows are a big thing. We've always tried to make sure we send crews to trade shows, not just for the new things that are coming out, but also even for training. I think a lot of people probably don't realize, especially I think in the church world, sometimes we don't take advantage of it as much, but, your LDIs, your Infocoms, all those types of events are going to have classes as well. So we've done a lot of classes over the years. I mean, everything from, M8, Grand M83 training to Vectorworks to all sorts of stuff.
Yeah. I think a piece of it too, and something I've learned a lot of, is having good relationship with the manufacturer.
Yeah. That's good.
Having a relationship with someone who is a part of that company, and asking those questions, and maybe even poking holes and having a question of like, oh, we've never had this problem before. And it's like, well, maybe we should figure this out altogether. But having that relationship with a manufacturer helps with that too, because I think things will be constantly growing and evolving, and those people are going to be the subject matter expert on what you just bought. Not to say you don't read and take care of what you do and know what you do, but it's also a piece of like knowing those people will help you gain more perspective on what is going on with the piece of gear. Maybe they know something you don't.
Yeah. There's a lot that happens in the manufacturing world, as I well know, and there's a lot that's done to push things forward. But I think there is a certain amount that's on us as individuals to continue to feed ourselves and find those things out. So awesome,
sure.
Great, cool. Daryl, I hear we have another question lined up in the chat. What do we have?
Yeah, we do, Brother Sean, Griffin, and Kyle. What's the most inspirational thing you've seen from each other the last few years? Oh, I love that.
Sean, that is an
Howdy
excellent
to
question.
the chat.
Wow.
That is coming
Excellent
in
question.
with a big question.
Woo.
Excellent question.
Kyle, I think you can go first if you want.
I mean, it's easy. I think constantly seeing what y'all do for motion conferences and your big conferences and stuff like that is just really cool. Seeing the designs and what you guys come up with, and growing challenges of needing to go in the round this year because you physically can't fit everybody into the room anymore.
It's a crazy problem
and
to
learning
have.
that, I think is really cool, and just seeing all that you guys are doing through the youth and through that movement is really cool. And so, that would be for me.
Yeah, shout out to Brian, who's a part of Thought Leader.
Yep. Yeah.
He does an incredible job with our design, so appreciate it though.
Yeah.
I love watching the way you lead your teams so well. I always hear through the grapevine and through the circles that we roll in together of how you pastor people well. It's not just production people that press buttons, but it's the way you pastor people as well is what always, it lights a fire under me to realize that I need to do it more.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah.
That's great. So let me ask a little bit of a follow-up question, and it's because I've known both of you guys for a little bit. Knowing that Highlands, Church of the Highlands has Highlands College, and that program there, and Kyle, I know you have a background in student ministry and ministry as well. Along those lines of pastoring your teams well and leading your teams well, let's go back to like students. What piece of advice, or what would you tell a student who's looking at getting into production in the real world, or big boy production, like your big boy dive earlier? What piece of advice would you give to a high school or college student who's looking at production, whether it be in church or even in what we would say the real world, the touring world, something like that? What piece of advice would you give to a student who may come and ask you about that?
Yeah, I think I would say ask questions. Ask a lot of questions, even to the point of kind of being a little bit annoying. Because I was that person too, of like jumping in pretty young, not necessarily knowing anything, but asking a lot of great people some good questions got me a lot of knowledge and things that I probably didn't have any business learning at that time in my life. But I think there's a piece of it that like you always have to take the perspective of learning and growing, and like there's always a space to grow. But as a younger person, a younger leader, there's always going to be that space. There's always going to be that space to grow because you're young, and you know, we're all not going to say we're know-it-alls, but at the same time, we all know a lot. And so relying on those folks to help you through seasons where maybe you don't know something or whatever, but don't be afraid to be wrong. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. Don't be afraid to ask people for feedback. And then like the other piece I think would be like, don't attach yourself and your self-worth to the gear or the piece or whatever you're doing.
Yep.
Because like that will kill you every single time.
Yeah.
But realizing that like we're all here because we're pushing to a higher cause. We're pushing to something greater than ourselves. And we are not a product of the work that we're doing. And so just constantly reminding yourself of that, of like, if an event doesn't go well or something doesn't go well, yeah, it stinks in the moment. But at the same time, you have to look back and be like, yeah, but people still heard what God had to say. Like the word of God never returns void. So like, praise God for that. And so I think those would be the two pieces of advice I'd give.
Those are good.
Can I, sorry to change up the flow, can I ask you a follow-up question to your answer?
Yeah.
So I, especially when I was younger, and I mean, I still can be guilty of it now, will get nervous to ask the questions because I don't want to already like prove, you know, to people that I don't know the answer. As somebody who, as you said, as you touched on, you know, always be willing to ask the questions. And as you've done, what advice would you give to people on, like, honestly, I guess, you know, the realest way to say it is to not be scared to not know.
Sure.
You know?
Yeah.
How did you approach that?
Yeah, I think it's a kind of a humility question, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like, where's your heart at in it? Like, I think the conversation I would have, and I have with a lot of people, is like, my job and why I'm here in my role is to not just like keep all the information to myself. Like the goal of this is to like give it to other people, because like what you're doing at Highlands and what I'm doing at Journey, some of that stuff intermingles every once in a while, but like we're still running separate things, but we're doing the same thing and running towards the same cause. And so it's like, I can go to you and ask a question about something and not feel that weight of like, oh, Griffin's going to think I don't know what I'm doing. But at the same time, I think there's a piece of learning consistently that once you kind of like, I have people in my life that I was like, I'm going to just pelt you with questions all the time because that's just who I am. Like, I want to learn, I want to grow. And like, if I see something that I want to question and I want to ask like what you did, like, would you give me that space to like have those questions? And those people said yes. And so it's like, or if they said, no, I don't have the bandwidth or whatever that is, and navigate that and try to figure that out. But always being a learner and always taking that space of humility of like, I'm not the best, and I know that. Yeah. But I know a lot of great people who have done a lot of great things that can also help me learn.
That's so good.
Yeah, love that. Good. Love that. Cool. What about you, Griff? What advice would you give to a student?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of things. I mean, I think you can go down the avenue of, you know, be a lifelong learner. You know, always be willing to learn. You can not know everything, and you know, be humble in the fact that you don't know everything. Yeah. I think one thing that I see, I feel when talking to some of our students at the college, I think there is this culture of, there's a lot of really healthy organizations out there, which praise God for that. That is an incredible thing. That is not a bad thing by any means. Yeah. But there's a lot of healthy organizations and a lot of healthy systems that have been built by people that have now either stepped out of their seat or stepped out of the role or stepped out of the organization or even stepped into other things, touring and design and all kinds of things like that. Yeah. And it seems like, I feel like for a lot of newer, younger students coming in, college age students, high school students, there's a I don't know a better way to say it, and it's really unfortunate that I have to say this word on a live stream, but like a certain amount of clout chasing of like getting behind a console as fast as you can. Yeah. And to your point of essential infrastructure, if you don't know what the cable's doing or how it hooks into the light, I'm sorry, this might be a really hot take, but why should you be sitting behind the console controlling it? I mean, it's I hope I would be able to look back and say the same thing as boldly to myself, like if it was a younger me in that position, but just taking the time to understand and learn first how the systems work, how the gear works, and do the hard stuff, because that also builds up something in you so that when you're at the point where you're leading systems and programming services and running consoles and, pastoring teams. You've put in the work, kind of, so to speak, to be a well-rounded leader,
Right.
I think.
Right. Gives you a more holistic view of everything that's going on that
100%.
way. Yeah.
100%.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we've got another question lined up in the chat.
Howdy, chat.
We've got more chat. So, Daryl, what do we have next?
Yeah, so Brother Bennett, he asked, how do you all keep your team challenged and engaged in week-to-week production?
Yeah.
And the big picture of why we do this.
It's a great question.
It is a good question.
good.
Challenged and engaged in week-to-week production and the big picture of the why.
I could probably speak to that. I think
for it.
there's a certain level of understanding why we do what we do that goes beyond pushing buttons and all that other stuff. I tell my guys all the time, like, I love production, but that's not like why we're here. We're here to like make people do great things for God. Like Scripture says in Ephesians, like equip the saints for the work of the ministry.
Yeah.
My job is to give away. My job is to let other people sit in the seat and experience what God is doing. But the week-to-week tasks are what allow a person to come in and like do the thing. So it's like if a volunteer who's never run ProPresenter walks in and it's just not configured at all and there's nothing plugged in and everything doesn't work, like that's not going to work. But it's up to us for when they click the button on the Stream Deck or they do the thing, like the thing happens, like whatever that piece of that is. And that's where I encourage my guys of like, hey, like, yeah, you're going to be doing a lot of work and there's a lot of stuff that happens, but the biggest picture and the biggest, the piece of it, the driving force behind it is like, we're equipping saints. We're equipping the saints for the work of the ministry. We're equipping people to serve people who just like us are giving time out of their week to come in and help out. And we want to value that. We want to honor that, but we also like want to build a place where people feel that empowerment and feel that care and feel that weight. I know for us, we always are reminding people of the why we do this, why we're here. And for staff, I think it's easy to fall into the like, well, I don't want to do that because I've been here since 4 a.m. and all these other people showed up at 7 and whatever. That I think is a cancer to church production as a whole, is that mentality of like, oh, well, I was here since 4, so what are you going to do? Or I've been doing XYZ during the week or whatever that is. And what I've challenged my guys is like, yeah, we're gonna work and we're gonna work hard. But at the end of the day, like we're gonna see all that God did. Like what an honor that is. What a joy it is to like usher in his presence and help be small parts of spiritual moments. And once they understand that, and once people understand that, I think they have a greater cause and a much more willingness to jump into a catwalk and get some work done.
Right.
Yeah.
Get a little dirty.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, along that same vein, one thing that our pastors kind of let us in recently that I think has been super cool is it's very intentional and it's very practical, just sharing stories with your teams of impacts that you're having, the ripple effect of, maybe you were just running lyrics for that, but the ripple effect that had. We had a night for our volunteers that help us pull off Motion Conference or Student Conference about 2 weeks ago. And one of the stories that we shared with them was, we have students from all over the country that come to this event. It's an open to the public youth conference essentially, but it was born out of our internal student ministry. And so a lot of our students from our different locations will travel into Birmingham and then they'll actually be bused together to the venue, to the event, for the start of each day. And there was a bus driver, a young man who had volunteered through the city school system to, transport students back and forth from the event. And just from hearing the way the students talked about what was happening in the room from session to session, the last day he actually got some information from one of the parents when he dropped the students off, like what is this that I've been taking them to for the last 3 days? And they were able to kind of explain to him, this is our youth camp essentially. We go to Church of the Highlands here in Birmingham, and he came to church that next day. The conference ends on Saturday. Gave his life to Christ.
That's cool.
The next Sunday got baptized.
Wow.
And he is now in our membership class at the church,
That's
joining
crazy.
the
That's
church,
crazy.
finding a team to serve
Wow.
on, and just seeing the way that little example of a ripple effect was able to just really hit home for our volunteers. Like, no, it's not just ProPresenter. No, it's not just a camera. It's just practical ways of sharing stories of what's going on in the church. I think is huge.
Yeah, people want to be a part of something that's winning.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
people want to be a part of something that they can clearly see that God is doing something special.
Yeah.
And to point back to people like, look at what you thought was just you hitting spacebar and ProPresenter was actually helping the worship leader lead the room so that other people could experience God. You know, and pushing that back to them. And it's the same thing, like telling stories like that. We just had a story come in. I'll share too, because why not? We had a girl. We have a local university right down the road from us, Palm Beach Atlantic University, and we got a story came in. A mom actually showed up because they had just moved in and everything like that, and found one of our pastors on staff and had said, we're from Rhode Island actually, and we've been watching online. From a friend of a friend, whatever, however they got connected to Journey through YouTube and all that other stuff. She actually chose to go to PBA because of Journey.
No
that she
way.
could
Really?
be a part of Journey.
That's crazy.
And so
That's
I got to share that with our team of like, what we think is just cutting cameras for another Sunday is actually someone's inspiration to come and live here for 4 years and join this church. And so people want to be a part of something that's winning. People want to be a part of a winning team. And so it's consistently cultivating that team mentality, I guess.
Yeah.
It's funny, our pre-service meetings, I mean, everybody has pre-service meetings, right? We all have them to get on the same page for Sunday. And it's become so mundane and so regular. One thing we've started doing recently is we'll actually bring all the teams in that are serving, ushers, greeters, worship team, production team. We'll all huddle on stage together, talk through the flow for the day, all the things like that. And one, again, just little practical, intentional thing on its own, doesn't mean a ton, but just the value behind it. We actually just had our creative team put together just a super simple graphic that we put up instead of just being in, the walk-in look or, whatever, that just says "Together we win."
Wow.
So the whole time we're sitting there talking
love
through
that.
the flow, all the teams in there, we're getting ready for service.
That's cool.
Even if you're not thinking about it, you're constantly looking at the LED wall that's just "Together we win" while we're going through the service.
That's
Just doing
really
little
cool.
practical things.
That's really cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I think story is so important, and the students talking about what's going on. The story of the mom and the daughter coming to Lake Worth area. C.S. Lewis has a quote that, story always wins.
Yep.
Always.
Chat, check me on that. Make sure I'm
There
not
it
lying.
is.
I think
There
it's
it
C.S.
is.
I'm pretty sure it's C.S. Lewis. But yeah, and it's just those stories make such an impact on us and on others. So keep telling those stories. Let people know what's happened and what God's done in your life and how you've gotten to where you are. I think it's so important.
We did a little campaign to try to get in some of those stories a little easier instead of just like, having to wait for people, to reach out or share. And so we actually did super simple, just set up basically kind of like, the work pods that you'll see or like a kind of a phone booth feeling thing, mounted an iPad in it, so that someone can't decide they want a free iPad that day. You got to kind of get past that. Yeah. But just had an iPad mounted in it and, it was, soundproofed-ish with just some sound panels that we had, just kind of painted it a little bit to make it not just, like a piece of wood sitting in the lobby. And what's cool is we have the privilege of being in multiple locations all over the state of Alabama and Georgia. So that phone booth actually kind of went on like a campus tour.
That's cool.
And
Oh,
so
neat.
our social media team, through our social media platforms, they would kind of say, like, hey, Madison campus, like the story booth is going to be at your campus this Sunday. And so the booth actually kind of took on its own personality of, kind of traveling around to
Moving
some of the
around.
different
Yeah.
campuses.
That's awesome.
And so it just, walked in, had a very simple prompt, tell us how, the Lord has moved in your life.
Yeah,
And so
that's awesome.
the stories that we haven't even had the chance to share yet of, people sharing things has been super cool.
That's
really
fun.
cool, yeah.
That's fun. Awesome. Cool. Well, guys, I'm loving the conversation that we're having. This is so fun. Let's take a short break for just a couple minutes. Daryl, I'm going to toss it back over to you actually for a few minutes here.
All right, thanks. Hey, so in this break, we started this thing, I don't know, about 5 years ago that we call Thought Leader. What is Thought Leader? Well, Thought Leader was the idea of how do we bring and create regular community within the church production world. And so we started this thing called Thought Leader. We do essentially what it is it's small groups for people who serve in church production. So if you are interested in that, I'll give you a little bit more information here in a second. But instead of me continuing to ramble, here's some words from some of our Thought Leader members and kind of how Thought Leader has impacted them in their ministries.
If people aren't aware of Thought Leader or what Thought Leader is, they need to know about it. They need to be part of it. We call it mentor circles because it's everybody that's, it's kind of mentoring everybody. And so we'll ask a question and you get 20 different perspectives on it because we all have the same questions. And you can learn some of people are a little bit further ahead in their journey and have some more solutions. And you're probably a little bit further ahead than other people. It is a community that literally thinks like you do. You might be at your church and you're the only production guy and you feel like you're alone or you're the weirdo or the socially awkward one, and you probably are. We love you. Come be part of the community and you'll become better at your craft, better as a person, better as a leader, and better as a teammate.
I'm Brian Worcester. I am the Creative Director of Experiences for Church of the Highlands. This is the 15th year of Motion. I've been involved since the beginning, so working on stage design when it was back at our broadcast campus, and then we were there for 4 or 5 years, and every year we would just rent in a few more lights and some truss here and change our screens up a little bit. But then we eventually moved to the arena. Been part of the team that's designed the stage every year since.
I'm Griffin McCravy. I'm the broadcast lighting director for Church of the Highlands. I've been involved in Motion from a production standpoint for about 5 years now. Started out as a lighting assistant, getting to kind of learn how to pull off a rig like the one behind me. Highlands was a home church to me growing up, and so I had the privilege to sit in these seats that we're surrounded by and get to experience Motion as a student, and then get to step into a role where I actually lead some teams and create the experience that students in today's world get to come in and experience at Motion.
This is the 15th year of Motion, and Motion is a student conference all about taking junior high, high school, and college students and pushing them forward into a lifestyle of motion for the church, for Jesus, putting their faith into motion, making a difference in their campuses and in their families and in their communities.
From a design standpoint this year, seating students nearly 270 in the room, almost to the sides and even slightly behind the rig itself. We wanted to try to put some curve in the design somehow. So the design very fluidly kind of curves along the edges to allow for not a harsh angle where someone goes from seeing the stage to not seeing the stage, as well as trying to keep the design fairly open. So we're really excited about that. We're really hoping that students are still able to connect no matter where they're seated with the design layout this year.
This year in the rig, we've got Chauvet MK3 profiles, we've got some Color Strike M's, and then the Storm 2 and Storm 3 beam washes.
This year specifically, we really wanted to play in the idea of an all-profile rig, something we've never really tried before. The MK3 was a great platform option for us from Chauvet because I was able to get that wide zoom that I want to get some really washy looks in this room, in this 270-degree seating scenario, while also being able to cut through an arena-sized room, really get a nice tight beam, and even get gobos in focus, all that good stuff for in-air effects. The Strike M, I really love the light. We kind of tried to use them for a different deployment method this year for Motion Conference. In the past, they've always kind of been a strobe workhorse for us, and they're still doing that this year as well. Even though it's a bright light, I'm able to manipulate it in a way where I can get really low light coming from the sides. It's using a really bright light to make the room darker, but you're really actually able to cut down on light that you're throwing everywhere else, and in turn kind of get just the focus on what you want it to be on.
I love the ring around the lens on the Storm 2. It is actually my favorite thing about the light. And then with the Storm 3, the way the two rings can focus independently in this room, they punch so hard, and it is such a, like, it really is a cutting dynamic effect. It's pretty cool. Every year that we do this event, there is some moment that we get into the process where I just have this, like, something happens, I get in the room, and I'm like, I get a little verklempt. I get a little choked up thinking about, you know, what's about to happen. I love the feeling in the room when you can hear the crowd outside, but they're not really in the room yet. I love that energy, that tension, and that I love knowing what they don't know.
My favorite thing about motion is getting to have the unique viewpoint of being a student who used to sit in this seat and put some of that heart and some of that energy into hopefully what students get to experience this weekend. There really is there's no vantage point like it.
I think the thing I love the most about motion has changed as the years go by. More and more gear, more lights is always super fun. But for me, I have 2 of my kids are here now. So one of them, that's his third motion, and then the other, it's his first. So I think for me, that's the coolest part, is now that this thing that their dad has been working on for so long, they are now like on the receiving end of it. They've just not been like watching me leave the house in the morning. So that part's pretty cool.
Jump in both feet. You're not going to be disappointed. It's a group of other individuals just like yourself.
If I had a friend considering joining Thought Leader, I would really ask them why they're stuck at the considering point.
Thought Leader is a tribe of people who are passionate about leading well.
The one thing that I value about my experience so far with Thought Leader is intentional relationships and conversations with people who are going through the same struggles I'm going through, that we can share how to get through things together and grow together.
It's a really amazing opportunity to meet like-minded people who really care, and we're all going after the same thing, to have people be impacted.
Thought Leader to me would be community and just like a resource.
What I value most about being in Thought Leader is really the consistent community.
Thought Leaders has impacted my leadership style by being able to learn from others how to be a healthy leader so that I can lead our team in a healthy way.
I have learned to think about the people first, gear second. If the people are good, if the people are pastored well and stewarded well, everything else will fall into place.
If you value your health as a leader and your team and the way that they grow, to take the time that it takes to invest in these relationships is so worth it.
Beforehand, I might have tunnel vision, blinders on, you could say, from just things that I maybe wasn't able to connect with for various reasons, but hearing it from other leaders, having those conversations back and forth has opened up my view and allowed me to correct some things in my own ministry that has really taken it to the next level.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Being in this group, being in this community has definitely shaped the trajectory of how I operate.
All Thought Leaders does is bring that potential to the surface. It helps you grow more and more, and it's free, so why wouldn't you do it? You have nothing to lose.
If I had one word to describe Thought Leader with, it would be community.
Life-giving.
Community.
It's encouraging.
Intentional.
Community.
Trusting.
Engaging.
I'm going to give you 3 words: church, production, family.
All right. So if any of that sounded interesting to you or someone that you might know that serves in church production, check out our website. It's tl-connect.com. Now, if you're just joining us for the first time or you weren't here at the very beginning of the live stream, just so you know, we are streaming to both Instagram as well as YouTube. This is an AMA style event, so you need to ask us questions. If you have questions to ask us and you're in Instagram, unfortunately, we're not able to get those chat questions into the studio here. That will need to come from our YouTube channel. So just hop over to YouTube, jump onto TL_Connect. That's our channel. And you'll be able to grab the live stream and pop into the chat and get questions here. So with that, Chris, I'm going to throw back to you guys. We've got some questions lined up here, and actually, I'll just go ahead and throw it up here.
Yeah, let's hit us with the first one here.
And I can't read it, so I'm going to have you.
You can't read that? That's ethical hacker. No. That's easy.
I know. Hold on. Here we go. Okay, now I can read it. I would love to hear about how some people with more experience in the field deal with disunity in the separate fields of one church.
Wow. Okay, that's a great question.
I think that's a good old howdy and welcome back.
Boy, yeah. Right?
And right back into it. I'll take a stab at it. I mean, I think for us, we've tried to be intentional with not withholding information from other teams, I think is kind of what this person's getting at. Specifically for us, for a long time, we had issues with our worship and production teams not being on the same page, and it's literally the two teams that do the service.
Yep.
And so we kind of got to a point where we ended up just merging under one team to kind of, this is going to sound aggressive, but like to kind of force, communication, interdepartmental communication, just to put all the people that need to be in the same room for meetings, whatever the case may be. That was one thing that comes to mind for me.
Kyle, what about you? What kernel of wisdom do you have for that?
I think my biggest thing I would say is don't let it sit. Like if you're feeling something,
well, that's good.
Don't let it, for lack of a better word, don't let it like curdle. Like don't let it sit with you for too long. I think there's a piece of like scripture saying like take it up with a brother. Like that's how this works.
Yeah.
This is how this Christian walk works.
You might have to talk to your coworkers even in church.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
God forbid you have to have a hard conversation. It's one of those things where like, it's not an easy thing, but like we also have to realize that like if unity is not at the forefront of what we're doing, then nothing is like where unity is God commands a blessing. And so it's like there's no question about needing to be united. And so the question isn't can you, it's how will you? And so in those difficult conversations, it's, hey, this is what I was feeling, or maybe also taking the stance of like as production people and even as production to worship people, we don't know what we don't know and they don't know what they don't know. Yeah. And so there's a piece of that you have to be able to give grace in the gaps and have good conversation. But I think it's don't let the feelings and the reality of disunity, because I think we all know the enemy hates what we're doing. Yeah. The enemy hates what's happening. So he's going to do anything he can to get after it. And so I think that you have to consistently fight for unity. And how that's going to happen is being open and honest and having real conversation with people. And if that doesn't happen, and if you feel a certain type of way and you have the conversation and nothing happens, then elevate that to the next level and then bring people into that conversation. But go first and have that good conversation, because I think you'll actually build more trust with your teammate if you say, hey, this is what happened and this is how it felt coming off, or this is whatever the case may be. But it's don't let disunity sit. It has to be something you consistently have conversation about and sit with. Yeah.
And I would add, just tag on quickly to the end of that, we always take complaint isn't the right word. That's not a good word to use, but we always take complaint up is how we say it in our organization. Yep. Yeah. So I agree with you 100%. Go the person first. Try to, cut unity off at the knees as quickly as possible. Yeah. But then, when it's appropriate to bring in someone else, always take it up.
Yep. Right.
Don't create more disunity by gossiping and talking.
Right. And
that's a good way to put that. There's an old Marine saying that's a lot more crass than what you had to say. So.
We won't bring that one up right now.
I'm glad you said that. We are live. So.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. There's no broadcast delay on this, just so everybody knows. This is 100% live. We've got another question lined up. Actually, we've got a lot of questions.
Let's go
chat.
Up,
so let's go ahead. Let's. I'm not gonna say we're gonna rapid fire these, but let's move through some of these questions. We got some good ones lined up.
I think some of these will go pretty quick. Yeah, Luke asked, how old were you when you got into production?
First off, I love you so much, Luke. You're the best ever. Luke serves on my team.
I was going to say,
do you guys know?
You're the best ever. I was, 16 years old. 16 years old. So I just turned 26 last week. So 10 years of this. fun jazz.
And you're still standing.
Still here, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
What about you, Griff? How old are
Very
you?
similar. I was around 13, 14 years old, started serving in church, running a little camera, hit record. And I just turned 27, so it's about the same timing.
That's right.
Now, you hold a record, don't you?
We can call it that. They had to make sure they could hire me is essentially what happened. I went to Highlands College, which is our ministry school, and got about a year into it. At the time, it was a 2-year program, and was, let's see, let me get this math right. I was 17 because I was young to graduate high school, going on 18, and then was, like 18-ish going on 19. In Alabama, for most cases, adult hiring rules, laws, the age of 19 in Alabama for full-time. Okay. And so I basically kind of got offered my job. Then they were like, time out, 1 second, pause. We need to make sure we can legally hire you full-time.
That's cool.
So you're at this point, you are still the youngest person ever hired full-time at the church?
Full-time, yeah. There was one other person who's actually also in production a number of years before me. They hired him as a contractor at 16.
Oh, wow.
And he is that good.
Wow.
Shout out, Steven.
Awesome. Very cool. All right. Daryl, what do we have lined up next?
Well, this one tags right on there. What made you want to get into production, from Chris?
Thank you, Chris, for asking the question.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to tee that one up.
Glad
no, that was not me, to be
chat.
clear. I didn't do that.
I didn't see you hop in the chat, but I mean,
no.
Chat. Let's go. Walk in.
What made you want to do it? For me, I was bored. I grew up in a Christian household that went to church every Sunday. You were there even if you were sick. My mom. This is a side story we could discuss later, maybe on the After Hours podcast. But I had a serious allergy issue one Sunday. My mother gave me Benadryl. Didn't think about the fact that it makes you sleepy. And so I started snoring in church.
Oh, awesome.
And she didn't wake me up because she felt bad. So that's, sorry if you were there that Sunday, Northbrook Baptist. I apologize. I was bored. I saw people behind glass doing something that looked cool. And I was like, I want to go see what that's about. And it was somebody with a lot more wisdom potentially than I would have had, who I think just saw something in me and was like, yeah, come in. I want to show you some stuff.
That's
and
cool.
they
cool.
took me in loving arms. At the time, this church was, broadcasting on TV. I mean, it was a legit operation. Yeah. And so they had me running that Pro Presenter, baby.
Let's go.
There you are. Nice.
Let's go. What got me into production? I was serving as a youth ministry intern. My first, right after I got saved, I was like, I always tell people, when you just get saved, you're like, oh, I want to do anything.
I want to do it all, everything.
Yep.
And so they said, hey, we need someone to run lights for this service. And, the guy was sick or whatever have you. I don't remember. I was like, sure. I guess I can do that.
I'll figure it out.
I like music. That's cool.
Right. I can't spell DMX yet, but I think I can figure it out.
Yeah. So ran lights for the youth service and just thought it was so cool. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know anything. I was just hit and go. But I just thought it was really cool to be able to control the lights. And I learned what the blackout button did. I was like,
nice.
What's BO?
On accident or
hit that?
Was it at least well timed, or was it?
No, very bad. Very bad.
All right.
I stand by the statement. If you don't know what a button does, at least press it on a beat. So maybe it does something.
Maybe it works.
That's a word right there, chat.
That's a word.
That's a word right there.
Just telling you.
So I started as a youth intern. They needed someone to help, and so I jumped in, and I guess the rest is history.
And it just rolled from there.
It just rolled from right there.
Well, we've actually got a great follow-up question to that.
Great.
Daryl, what's the next question we've got here?
Brother Van Blymen asks for Griffin and Kyle, what has kept you in motion?
Wow.
Nice play there.
Shout out, chat.
Wait a minute.
Within your journey,
wow,
bam,
dang,
of church creativity.
Wow.
Kyle, take that away, my man.
I think Jacob just won the chat for the night.
Chat.
Good job, Jacob. Well done,
that's
sir.
solid.
Well done, sir.
I shout out to the chat. You guys are locked in right now. But I think for me, what has kept me kind of engaged is actually looking outside of the church and seeing what big tours are doing, or I'm specifically talking about in the creative realm of lighting design or whatever that is. Constantly going to shows and just seeing what do you do? How are you doing what you're doing? What are the ideas that you're coming up with? What are the things that are happening? And kind of chew the meat and spit out the bones. I'm not going to strobe out the room just because I think it's cool. But
Yeah.
at
Right.
the same time, like seeing other things and understanding like, okay, that's cool design, or this is something. And not necessarily living in the box of like, the only thing I can do is like church stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
I think has been a piece of that. And I think the other piece that consistently keeps me creative is just always looking for inspiration inside of whatever I'm doing, creatively looking at things. So like learning from, like watching College Game Day and seeing something happen and being like, well, that's really cool. How can I work that into like what I'm doing? Like, oh, I can see that work for my online audience, or this transition, or how this works, or, kicking field goals with Pat McAfee. Like, I want to work that into a service. That'd be pretty tight.
That'd be kind of fun, actually.
But
That'd be a good Father's
shout out
Day
to
thing
Pat
to
McAfee
do.
in the chat if he's there.
If he's in the chat, we're
Pat's
having a
watching.
wild night.
Oh boy.
But yeah, so I think there's always pieces to learn outside of the world of church, and even inside the world of church, seeing what other people are doing. What you had said, like just because it's different doesn't mean it's bad. It just means it's different, and learning from other people and seeing what they do, and like I said, chew the meat and spit out the bones.
Yeah,
Cool.
That's good. I've never heard that. Chew the meat, spit out the bones.
There you go.
I like that. I have to use that. Very similar for me. I would say, I love live music. I love experiences that people get taken on a journey. Shout out.
Wow.
Shout out. We're doing the same thing, but with a way more important eternal message.
Yep.
But I don't think there's any reason why we can't, kind of like you were touching on, not be able to use tools, tricks,
Yep.
things of the trade that tours, concerts, big events are doing.
Yeah.
I guess I just kind of second you, honestly. Get
Cool.
out of your four walls and,
And take
see some
inspiration
stuff.
from those
Yeah,
things for
yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
And to be clear, you guys aren't saying just because you saw it at the concert or you saw it at the big tour show that came through, oh yeah, I'm going to absolutely take that and rubber stamp it.
please don't
Please
creative
don't do
infringe.
that.
Yeah.
Please
Don't
don't
do that.
just,
Because
copy and
now it's
paste.
plagiarism
Yes.
at that point.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
take inspiration from that and
Yeah.
make it your own.
And just because the big church does it doesn't mean you have to do it.
Come on.
Preach.
Just because you're seeing the big churches do the big thing or whatever they're doing doesn't mean you have to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
Work with what you have in your context.
Yep.
Do what you do well, and then look for inspiration everywhere.
We always tell staff there is always someone who is doing what you do better than you are.
That's
And
a good word.
they could be in any background.
That's sick.
That's really good. That's awesome. So,
Chat.
Daryl, what do we have lined up next?
Well, Brother Vegas is with us tonight. And he asked, what was one of the most impactful moments you've had with one of your team, and how has that changed your view of your role? That's a good one.
I'll go.
You're ready for that.
right
He's
on.
ready.
I'm ready to go.
He's ready for this.
I had, and actually it's happening again, which is funny, but we had a guy on our team, I'll spare his name, but he kind of walked into the church, and the people when you're at church and they're kind of like lingering around the booth and you're just like looking and you're like, something, but you're not talking to me about it. So I walked right up to him and had a conversation with him, and he was like, oh, I really want to serve and I want to do this thing, whatever. I do it freelance, and like, I just don't know, like, whatever. But I really like your cameras. I think they're nice. I said, okay, cool. Like, I can work with that. Let's roll. Yeah. So we got to sit down and have some coffee, and turned out that actually he didn't know Jesus at all. And that was one of those moments where I was like, oh, am I allowed to do, like, is this allowed? Like, and a couple months go by. He's been serving with us for a while and stuff. And he was kind of like falling off, and then came back, and there was some stuff that happened, and we kind of worked through it together. And a couple months go by. It was actually at a Christmas service. So he'd been serving for about a year. And he actually gave his life to Jesus on the camera, like serving, raised his hand and gave his life to Jesus.
Oh, man.
And that like completely reset like my heart in the moment, because Christmas services are always wild.
Yeah.
And so getting caught up in that and then seeing the like life change that's so tangible because a guy just liked a camera. That's all he cared about. Wow. But then Jesus got a hold of his heart. But like if we had been like, oh, well, you don't love God, you didn't go to our leadership class, you didn't do this, that, and the other thing, we would have missed a God-ordained opportunity.
Yeah.
And so it was like, I think that was one of the most impactful moments I've had. Just seeing like, man, what I'm doing, yes, I know I'm pastoring and caring for people, but I never knew it would be at that scale.
Yeah.
And so I got to lead them to the Lord, and that was awesome.
That's so cool.
Love that.
So
Love
cool.
that. And you had a lot of opportunity to continue to be in the room and continue to hear the word preached. And you know, it's just that exposure.
Yeah. And then like 2 or 3 months later, he was like, "Hey, I actually have to leave and I have to move out." And so I was like,
no.
Hey, at least we put all the tools in your tool belt.
We got
before
the
you
important
went."
stuff
And so I love him so much. But he's actually doing freelance work down south.
Oh, cool.
Wow. Yeah.
Nice. Griffin, how about you? Do you have a impactful moment like that?
I've got a moment that comes to mind that happened actually fairly recently at one of our events. It was myself and another one of our staff members that's a super dear personal friend of mine. And then, obviously, we work a lot of hours together. And we were working an event, and it was an event that required outside vendors, outside contractors. And so, they were there milling around. And we were in session mid-song. I was running lighting. One of my buddies that's on staff at the church was running like key light, front light, kind of managing stuff like that, because it was a bigger event that we also had on camera. And I'm running lights, and I noticed at one point, it was kind of, a slower moment, more intimate kind of worship moment. And at one point, we were kind of running dual consoles so that we could both have a surface. And at one point I noticed he's just gone, not at his console. And it's so easy in the moment. I mean, my thoughts were going everywhere from like, is he okay, to like, did he have to go to the bathroom? It's like, or like, did he just walk away? Like, what's the deal? In the moment, your mind goes so many places. And he comes back to the console. I don't think anything about it. And this is an offsite event we do. And so, fast forward a couple hours, we're walking back to the hotel together. And we stopped right before we got on the elevators. And he was like, "Did you notice I walked away from the console tonight?" And I was like, "Yeah, I actually meant to ask you about that." I was like, "What was the deal? Are you good?" And, to keep it personal for him, he felt like the Holy Spirit had kind of led him to go ask one of our vendors or one of our contractors that was there that happened to be at front of house in that moment if he could pray for him.
That's cool.
Oh,
And he did, and asked him, and they were going through some things that they were able to kind of open up with him about. And he was like, "I ended up crying, he ended up crying, and you were just still sitting up there just flashing the lights." So, it's, but it was just a moment that I was like, "Oh, Lord, please don't let me miss those moments."
Yeah.
Just like we volunteer on camera.
Yep.
Just don't let me miss those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Instill that culture.
Who was doing the real work in that moment?
Yeah.
Right.
Not
That's
me
the-
going lizard, 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 lizard.
There
There it
was.
is.
Cool. Well, we've actually got another question lined up. Daryl, what's next on the list here?
I love this one. As a high school student, what steps would you take to gain influence and trust within the team for more leadership potential? Love that question.
Josiah, that is an excellent
That's a great
question.
question.
That's a great
That's
question.
an excellent question.
It's a great question. I dare say you will accomplish everything your question has in it because of the question.
Yep.
Yeah.
I just, dude, keep doing what
Yep.
you're doing.
Yep.
I would say, like we talked about earlier, just do the little things, put in the work. Don't be too big for anything too fast. And if you come into it humble and with a humble heart, ready to serve, that you're going to answer that question for yourself.
Yeah. I'll second that. I was kind of going the same route, so we're locked in.
Hey,
But-
chat, we're locked in on the
Chat,
couch.
we're locked in, chat. But I think that there's a certain level of like leadership that you'll gain just by you being faithful and doing the good thing.
Yeah.
And seeing when other people see that, which I think even when you don't think people are seeing that, people are seeing that. That you will consistently gain that influence and continually grow in that, but also like going to your leaders or going to the people who are there and asking them for more opportunity. And even asking them like, where do you see me fitting into this puzzle or whatever the piece is of like, especially with the leadership potential piece. It's like the fact that you're asking the question means you have leadership potential. And so, the question then becomes, where do I steward that energy? Where do I put that into the team? And if it is in production or if it's not, or whatever that is, where do you put that to make it a greater impact for the kingdom? And so, yeah, I think that's an awesome question. Yeah. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep being faithful. But just lead by example. Do what God is calling you to do. And so, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Get coil of cable, run
Just
the
do
tape,
it. Yeah,
sweep the stage floor when it needs to be
That's
swept.
right.
All those things,
That's right.
and just be. It'll happen. You'll get
Yes,
there.
it
So
will.
cool, Daryl. We've got one more question lined up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Sorry, let me get here. I was paying attention to something else.
You're good. There's a lot happening right now. We're
Yeah.
good. We're good.
Yeah. I heard there was some football on, so.
That's what it is. He's over there watching the football game. Monday
Jonathan
night.
asks, what method do you use to manage your gear inventory?
Kyle,
What
I
a
bet
great
you've got
question. No, I have no answer to that question. I am here to learn from Griffin.
And it's time to go to commercial.
All right. Okay. Cool.
You stumped them, Jonathan.
We use a system called Flex Rental Systems. To be perfectly clear, it is expensive. It is meant for rental companies, and it is very complicated to use. So I'm not going to say we love it. I'm not going to say it makes sense for everybody. That is the only real option that we've found so far, just because we're in a really unique few that we have so much gear and it's spread physically across so many locations. We almost have to, we look at some of our gear, especially like maintenance and keeping up with inventory and where it's at. We kind of almost look at it as a rental inventory in a way, even though we own it. So yeah, that's the best I've got for you.
Yeah, we're looking into a software called Asset Tiger, I think it's called.
Asset Tiger.
Asset
Okay.
Tiger.
Rawr.
Rawr. But yeah, so it's like you can like barcode every piece of gear.
yeah,
It's like
yep.
QR or whatever it is.
Yeah,
And
it's kind of how Flex
it all
is.
goes into like a database. But
Yeah.
trying to find a cost-effective option that works really well.
Yep.
Yeah.
is proving to be very difficult. So if
Yes.
somebody wants to build it, I'll be the first one to invest.
Oh, there you go. There's a challenge for everybody.
There you go.
You want to build it? Kyle said he'll invest in it.
I'm there.
So there you are.
I'm there for it.
Awesome. Cool. Well, hey, guys, conversation's going great. I want to keep this going.
Yeah.
We've got more questions stacked up, definitely. But we could not do what we're doing tonight and what we do within Thought Leader if it wasn't for Chauvet Professional. So, Daryl, I'm going to turn it back over to you to share about Chauvet a little bit.
Absolutely. So as Chris said, some of you may not know, Chris and I actually do work for Chauvet Professional. And if it wasn't for Albert Chauvet and the entire team supporting what we do and allowing us to be able to make the investment in Thought Leader and invest in the worship community, it just wouldn't happen. And so we have an amazing team at Chauvet. We've been working on a lot of great projects and a lot of new products that are out there. And listening to you, we want to know what you want and what you need so that we can produce those things. But let's take just a second. We'll let them take a break here on the main stage. And we're going to take a look at some of the products that we've had recently released by our team back down in Florida at Chauvet.
Maverick ideas outperform expectations. Draw on Maverick Storm 1 Flex to release stunning textured looks. Send totally solid beams. And hit the deepest colors. Maverick Storm 1 Flex is a multifunctional LED powerhouse. No lamp, no hotspot. Only perfectly even output at every angle. Go flat out from the narrowest beams to the widest spots seamlessly with an advanced optical system that always projects a completely even field of light. Digital dimming that delivers the smoothest fades. And a CMY color mixing system that produces the boldest saturated reds. Maverick Storm is our family of lighter, brighter, stadium power moving heads built to rugged IP65 standards. That not only throws the brightest beams, crispest spots, but also shapes the softest gobos. Outperform expectations with the Maverick Storm 1 Flex.
Hi, my name is Zach Scott. I'm a freelance LD and programmer, and I'm here shooting the Maverick Storm 1 Flex commercial. Through the years of hybrid and flexible units being on the market, it's always been that question and that answer of it's just not there, but I think we actually have something at this point in terms of all of the features. Hotspots has always been a big topic, especially amongst hybrid and flexible type fixtures. And the smooth even spread across an LED source has also been, something that we've been waiting on. So look no further, because this optics range is absolutely everything. And the size of the lens itself is a tribute to how smooth you can get with the output. A few of the main highlights being the color, the saturation, and actual deep red compared to some other fixtures. Another big win is the full use of the optics lens and getting a fat full beam, whereas most other fixtures are only using 50% of that optics lens. The gobo selection is absolutely stellar. Most other fixtures, there's a solid 20 to 30% of gobos that are just not great, that I'm not going to use. With this fixture, I could have a use for every single gobo. We've had LED for quite a while now, and it's the same type of thing where, through the years, it's just not there. But in terms of the dimming capabilities on this light, I think we're reaching new heights. We're reaching new things that we haven't seen yet. So I would urge anybody that is interested to take a look at this in real life. With the way that the profile is laid out on the desk and with how everything is mapped, it makes layering things extremely easy. So we've got multiple gobo wheels, we've got an animation wheel. All of that can be combined in different ways to create, a plethora of different looks and custom combinations. So it's extremely fast to create even just a simple, incredible look, all the way up to something that we've worked on for a half an hour. When I first saw this fixture a month and a half ago, in a demo, I was blown away, and I haven't been blown away like this in a long time. Every box is checked off on my list for a flexible fixture, and that's never happened. I've already told multiple vendors, multiple other LEDs that they need to look at this fixture. It's going to be a mainstay for sure.
Unplug, blend in, and turn up the color like never before with the Well family of wireless event LED luminaires. Advancements that build on the Well combination of portability, durability, and creative control. New RGB warm white LED sources that bring significant improvements in quality of light, from redesigned optics that deliver increased lumen output and outstanding beam collimation. High CRI light accurately renders skin tones, making Well fixtures ideal for any rental package. Run your show with DMX or wirelessly with RF or CRMX control. Bring new decor matching accessories, new mounting and diffusion possibilities, and an all-new Well Connect FX app that brings built-in RDM and a host of new capabilities. If you're going to do it well.
All right, welcome back. So, take some time. Excuse me. Sorry. Take some time. Check out our website. It's chauvetprofessional.com. We are so blessed to be able to have the support of the entire Chauvet family. If you're looking for any lighting solutions for your church, production, any type of need, take a look. Reach out to one of us. We would love to help you out. So if you're joining us now again for the first time, or you weren't here earlier, just so you know, this is an AMA style event. So your questions in the chat, we will be responding to live as we're here on the air. So please make sure that you're putting those in the chat. We are distributing to Instagram as well as YouTube. Unfortunately, on Instagram, we can't get the chat here into the studio. So if you want to ask a question for the guys to respond to, make sure to check out our YouTube channel. It's TL_connect. And go into the chat. You can find the live event there. Go into the chat and pop it in there, and we'll get it to the guys. So with that, we are going to go to one of the questions here. Brother Sean asked the question, what are your two favorite lights? He wants to know one primary and one eye candy.
Okay.
And just remember who pays the electric bill here on the show. I'm just kidding. Just
Yeah,
kidding.
y'all
Just
are putting
kidding.
us in a pickle
Wow.
here.
Yeah.
How are we about to?
Yeah.
How are we going to answer this? Okay, I'll go for it.
No, you're good.
Go for it.
I'll go for it.
Hit it.
Okay, primary. This is easy way out. Sorry. I'm going to give you a platform that I think is so important in church. Just kind of a style of light almost
yep.
type. I think some kind of moving head LED wash fixture. With Zoom is great. More than that, something like an R2, R2X, an Aura. Anything in that line, I think it has so many uses for us. We're using it for wash light, front light. It does so many things for us. And if you find something that's got a wide zoom so that you can wash a big space, but you can also get it tight to almost have like a little bit of a beam type light, we rely on those heavily in a lot of our portable rooms. And then the Chauvet Pixel Curve 12.
You know a little bit about those.
They are crazy.
You've done a recent design with a couple of those in it.
Yeah, we got a chance to bring them in for Christmas when they were fairly new, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys did have them last year for your Christmas
Used
services.
them at Christmas,
Yeah.
and in the context of our services, just for people who might not have this context, we're in the Bible Belt in the South. So although our main room might feel large in size, sometimes the production level, the lighting level, it's not a rock and roll show. It's not like that. Christmas, we try to make it fun and enjoyable for the whole family. Maybe people who are used to church, people who aren't. So we do get to have a little more fun times like Christmas. But we got to use it at Motion, our student conference this summer, and they just once again blew me away. So it's a great eye candy light. Great eye candy
There
light.
you go. I'll give you 2 Chauvets, Daryl, just for you.
Come on.
I think I think for just a primary fixture, we just recently did a worship recording for our team, and we used the Storm One hybrid, and they blew me out of I was so surprised, at how well they did, and they were wide, they were tight, they were everything we needed it to be, and more,
Yeah.
Is that good? No, I'm kidding. But no, I was seriously, genuinely very surprised at how it went. And we had a couple other lights that we were kind of looking at and poking around with, and it just worked out, and it was what we needed. And as far as eye candy, another one, and I think everybody will agree, is the Strike M.
Yes.
The lizard button.
It was made for the lizard.
The lizard. Just more of those. The dual pixel situation in the middle.
Oh yeah,
it is a situation.
The plates in the side. It's a great fixture. Just feels right.
I don't know if I've ever told either of you this, but both of you would laugh to know this.
Oh boy.
The ones in my room right now, they ride a 30% master on the fixture because they're just so bright.
Oh, they're so bright.
In
they
the
don't
main
get above
broadcast space?
30% in the
So
main
when the
broadcast
fader's
room.
at full, it's actually throttled at 30%
Throttled
output.
at 30%.
30%.
And it's still kicking in that room, I bet.
Oh
isn't
my
it?
goodness, it sunburns me. I mean, have you looked at
Well,
me?
it doesn't
I mean,
take much.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I love you. I love you. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that.
At our
I
initial
shouldn't have said that.
initial worship recording, we had 18 of them, and we decided for one song we were just going to let them rip.
Oh man, the power company probably called.
It was bright. It was very bright. In
I'm
the
sure
room.
comms lit up with the video guys going, I can't see anything.
It was that mixed with Matthew, our lighting designer, who's probably in the chat, just screaming. Just, yeah! That was what it was. And so it was great. It was awesome.
That's awesome. Love it. That was great. Cool. Daryl, what do we have lined up next?
All right. Brother Ryan has a great question. Kind of ties into this. What is the main thing you focus on lighting-wise that ties the satellite campus together with your broadcast campus?
Okay.
It's kind of in the same vein, but
Yeah.
So along the lines of like trying to keep some consistency maybe from broadcast to satellite locations?
I think for us, we've actually utilized a lot of video LED walls to keep the money shot, if you will, the tight hero on Pastor.
Sure.
We try to keep that area as clean as we possibly can. We add some fixtures on the bottom of the LED wall, just some batten type fixtures. But we keep that consistent across all of our locations, so that it always looks the same. The batten fixture might be different, but we try to keep everything similar, because our heart is like we're one church that's meeting in a bunch of different places, and so when you walk into one campus versus the other, we don't want it to feel like a complete deviation from like what's happening at the other locations, or even what you're going to watch on video. And so we rely pretty heavily on like video backdrops, and then keeping that area clean, but keeping the like two main things, like LED wall with battens underneath it, or a projector screen with a batten underneath it, or something like that, to kind of keep it consistent. No matter where we go, it's going to look the same.
Cool.
No. I would say for us, we're very similar. You know, we kind of try to fit a vision of, you know, one church, many locations, I think like you said. And so for us, we try to keep, you know, that money shot pretty clean at our broadcast location so that it doesn't feel like there's something artificial when you're watching it on the screen at a campus. And then I would also say, you know, from a programming standpoint, we deploy a very similar fixture package, just in basically a small, medium, or a large size kind of. So the rig itself in the room is going to have a similar feel. And then on the weekend, we actually centrally pick lighting colors and song content. And so then that goes out to our volunteers. They're still programming it at the campus. You know, they're still getting to have some of that creative input. But we try to, you know, make it where exactly like the question, you know, it's different rooms, but it's going to kind of feel similar.
Yeah, it's good.
Do you guys find a like a product family, like you were mentioning, like the R2X, right? The Rogue family, right? So like in a larger space like your broadcast, where you might use like an R3, you know, something with a bigger face. Do you, for maybe a smaller room that has a lower trim height or something like that, do you then scale down to like an R2X?
Yeah, you're exactly right. So we love the Rogue series, love it a ton. And so for our biggest room, being the broadcast room, we go with the R3, you know, obviously for size. At a lot of our permanent locations, we'll do, you know, R2, R2X, you know, whatever in there. And then at some of our smaller portable campuses, especially places with low ceiling height or clearance or things like that, we'll even drop down to an R1, you know, beam wash. And then actually this might surprise y'all, but the Well family, to do uplight on walls and rooms that like are not ours, so we can't control them, to at least put a little bit of color on the walls, you know, whether that's utilizing the wireless DMX or just, you know, setting a look. And, you know, they what I love about the Well products is being able to set runtime, so you can make sure like in the middle of Sunday, you know, your room's not going to go to black halfway through the day.
Right.
And so, we'll just kind of, we'll pick a product line that we like and kind of scale accordingly when we can. It doesn't always work out, but, you know, something like the, you know, R123, that works really nicely.
Gotcha. Cool. Awesome. Well, we've got another question lined up in the chat. Daryl, what do we have over there?
Well, it's kind of in the same vein, but Brother Squeezy asked the question.
Hey.
What LED walls are you using and what pixel pitch? Oh, that's kind of in line. Right? Just talking tech here.
Talking tech. We are using Unilumen, and our pixel pitch is 2.6. 2.6. And that's at our two broadcast locations.
Okay. Cool. Now, do you deploy walls out to your satellites as well?
That's what I was about to ask.
Coming soon.
Coming soon. Oh, remember, you heard it here first.
Dun, dun, dun.
Be coming
Here
soon.
on Thought Leader Live.
Right. What about you guys, Griff?
We have a row wall at our main broadcast location, our big room. It is, we deployed it in 2017. So shout out to Row. It still looks incredible. You'd probably have no idea. It's almost, what's that math?
It's 8 years old.
8 years old.
Yeah.
It's a 3.4. We got quite a bit of depth from, you know, back wall to first row seats, and even obviously what matters most, you know, edge of the lens. So a little bigger pixel pitch there. And then at our campuses, we're kind of just on the other side of where y'all are at. We've started actually going back and putting LED walls. We're doing it in our new builds. We're kind of retrofitting, you know, older spaces now. But we've actually gone with Thor. Row is just,
great.
For camera, it's a great option. It obviously is going to be some of the best of what you can buy, in my opinion, at least. But, you know, trying to steward tithe money, you know,
That's right.
It's not feasible, in our opinion, to try to do something at that cost. You know, if you feel like that's the vision, that's the direction, that's what's going to help your ministry, is having an LED wall, still, you know, find options, you know, that maybe aren't the most expensive thing out there. So did Row where it's on camera, everybody else gets Thor.
There you go.
So
cool. Awesome. Well, we've got one more question lined up, Daryl, right? What do we have over there?
Yeah. Brother Ryan asked, do either of you have suggestions to how you would blend natural light in auditoriums with stage lighting?
Okay.
It's probably more traditional spaces or
Yeah.
repurposed spaces where you can't block out the sun, but
Sure.
Really the only, I mean, this isn't really necessarily blending it with the actual show lighting. The only thing I will say I've seen done, I know there's some, like I know Willow Creek does it. The church I grew up in, where I kind of started doing the Pro Presenter stuff, Northbrook, had these big, huge kind of Southern Baptist, windows in the auditorium. So when you come in, it's very bright, very open, very welcoming. And then, a lot of times in a black box, as we would say, kind of style experience or room, you want to have kind of control of that ambient light. So we had those curtains on systems, on DMX controlled systems.
Oh, yeah.
And so we would do a 5-minute countdown at Northbrook, the church I was growing up at. And over those 5 minutes, the entire 5 minutes, the curtains just slowly close the whole time.
Down.
So it's not quite as much of like a light to dark, that's, on multiple levels, especially being a church, that's a little,
Scary.
Yeah. And so we do it very naturally. Your eyes kind of just naturally over 5 minutes adjust to it. And then you've got control of your space for show lighting.
Yeah, that's good. I did I was able to help another church out with an install, and it was very similar to like that Southern Baptist big window style. And I mean, like wash lights are kind of, for lack of a better term, a wash. And so
that is earth-shattering news.
You don't get anything
It's
from
in
it.
the name.
It's just there. And so what we ended up doing was actually using, shout out Chevet, Epic strips to kind of add like a technical looking flair to like the more pretty room, if you will.
Okay,
Not
yeah,
black
yeah,
box,
yeah.
but
That's cool,
it helped kind of bridge that gap, and you can do some like eye candy effects with that video mapping, pixel mapping, or just using the fixture itself, whatever you want to do. So that kind of married the two together.
Yeah.
And still kind of had those like more eye candy lights, because you're not necessarily like backlighting really well if it's just completely washed out anyway. So if lights are dancing, at least you can see something.
Now, did you guys kind of like integrate it into the architecture a little bit more?
Yeah, we built it into the architecture. So there was like these huge columns and stuff that like ran all the way up.
Oh, neat.
So we kind of like ran all of this up. It was actually really pretty.
Do you have pictures of that? I'd love to see it.
Yeah, I think I do.
Okay, cool.
I feel like lighting has moved, like lighting, kind of feel like change pace sometimes of like what seems to be in. Feels like that big bright wash is like kind of the thing right now. It feels like a little bit. So I mean, honestly, we kind of joke amongst each other on staff, sometimes giving each other a hard time, but it's like, if you can't get rid of something, make it a feature. So, it's like to that question, like, if you're not going to be getting rid of the windows or covering the windows or something like that, just find intentional ways to make it the feature.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I saw a church one time. They had been portable, and then they got a building, but it had been a fairly traditional church that had a pipe organ in the front with the big ranks of pipes on either side.
Yeah.
Pipe organs are really expensive.
Yes, they are.
You know what else? Pipe organs are really expensive to have removed.
I believe it.
And so they got the console and stuff out, but like to get the ranks of pipes taken out was going to be hundreds of thousands of dollars. It was going to be stupid expensive.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was custom built for the room.
Right. Yeah.
So they actually just uplit all around these ranks of pipes, and it added this really cool
See,
texture.
and somebody would
it's like,
post that on Instagram and be like, how do I make it look like I have a pipe organ in my room? It's like, just make it a feature, you know?
Exactly.
Cool.
So it looks super cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Daryl, I'm going to toss it back to you here for just a quick minute.
All right. Thank you. So while the guys take a little bit of a break, if you're not familiar with what Thought Leader is, check out our website. It's tl_connect.com. About 5 years ago, we started this conversation that we call Thought Leader, where we were like, man, we want to connect people that do church production together that are all over the U.S. and all over the world to have kind of a regular rhythm of conversations for collaborating, for fellowship, for just making new friends. And so we actually do what we call mentor circles. Mentor circles are basically small groups for people who serve within church production. We run 2 different seasons every year, and it's 100% free. Chevet covers all of the cost, and we have individuals like Griffin, who's here, is one of our leaders that actually help lead the mentor circles. We have 6 different groups with 12 different leaders, different time slots throughout the week, kind of to fit in with your schedule. And we just kind of jump onto Zoom calls and we have conversations on some amazing topics and just kind of check in with each other. So if you're interested in that, check out our website. It's tl-connect.com. And here's video of some of our leaders and some of the people who've been part of Thought Leaders and some of the impact it's made on them and their ministries.
If people aren't aware of Thought Leader or what Thought Leader is, they need to know about it. They need to be part of it. We call it mentor circles because it's everybody that's, it's kind of mentoring everybody. And so we'll ask a question and you get 20 different perspectives on it because we all have the same questions. And you can learn some of people are a little bit further ahead in their journey and have some more solutions. And you're probably a little bit further ahead than other people. It is a community that literally thinks like you do. You might be at your church and you're the only production guy and you feel like you're alone or you're the weirdo or the socially awkward one, and you probably are. We love you. Come be part of the community and you'll become better and your craft, better as a person, better as a leader, and better as a teammate.
I'm Brian Worcester. I am the Creative Director of Experiences for Church of the Highlands. This is the 15th year of Motion. I've been involved since the beginning, so working on stage design when it was back at our broadcast campus, and then we were there for 4 or 5 years, and every year we would just rent in a few more lights and some truss here and change our screens up a little bit. But then we eventually moved to the arena. Been part of the team that's designed the stage every year since.
I'm Griffin McCravy. I'm the broadcast lighting director for Church of the Highlands. I've been involved in Motion from a production standpoint for about 5 years now. Started out as a lighting assistant, getting to kind of learn how to pull off a rig like the one behind me. Highlands was a home church to me growing up, and so I had the privilege to sit in these seats that we're surrounded by and get to experience Motion as a student, and then get to step into a role where I actually lead some teams and create the experience that students in today's world get to come in and experience at Motion.
This is the 15th year of Motion, and Motion is a student conference all about taking junior high, high school, and college students and pushing them forward into a lifestyle of motion for the church, for Jesus, putting their faith into motion, making a difference in their campuses and in their families and in their communities.
From a design standpoint this year, seating students nearly 270 in the room, almost to the sides and even slightly behind the rig itself. We wanted to try to put some curve in the design somehow. So the design very fluidly kind of curves along the edges to allow for not a harsh angle where someone goes from seeing the stage to not seeing the stage, as well as trying to keep the design fairly open. So we're really excited about that. We're really hoping that students are still able to connect no matter where they're seated with the design layout this year.
This year in the rig, we've got Chauvet MK3 profiles, we've got some Color Strike M's, and then the Storm 2 and Storm 3 beam washes.
This year specifically, we really wanted to play in the idea of an all-profile rig, something we've never really tried before. The MK3 was a great platform option for us from Chauvet because I was able to get that wide zoom that I want to get some really washy looks in this room, in this 270-degree seating scenario, while also being able to cut through an arena-sized room, really get a nice tight beam, and even get gobos in focus, all that good stuff for in-air effects. The Strike M, I really love the light. We kind of tried to use them for a different deployment method this year for Motion Conference. In the past, they've always kind of been a strobe workhorse for us, and they're still doing that this year as well. Even though it's a bright light, I'm able to manipulate it in a way where I can get really low light coming from the sides. It's using a really bright light to make the room darker, but you're really actually able to cut down on light that you're throwing everywhere else, and in turn kind of get just the focus on what you want it to be on.
I love the ring around the lens on the Storm 2. It is actually my favorite thing about the light. And then with the Storm 3, the way the two rings can focus independently, in this room, they punch so hard, and it is such a, like, it really is a cutting dynamic effect. It's pretty cool. Every year that we do this event, there is some moment that we get into the process where I just have this, like, something happens, I get in the room, and I'm like, I get a little verklempt. I get a little choked up thinking about, you know, what's about to happen. I love the feeling in the room when you can hear the crowd outside, but they're not really in the room yet. I love that energy, that tension, and that I love knowing what they don't know.
My favorite thing about motion is getting to have the unique viewpoint of being a student who used to sit in this seat and put some of that heart and some of that energy into hopefully what students get to experience this weekend. There really is there's no vantage point like it.
I think the thing I love the most about motion has changed as the years go by. More and more gear, more lights is always super fun. But for me, I have two of my kids are here now. So one of them, that's his third motion, and then the other, it's his first. So I think for me, that's the coolest part, is now that this thing that their dad has been working on for so long, they are now like on the receiving end of it. They've just not been like watching me leave the house in the morning. So that part's pretty cool.
Jump in both feet. You're not going to be disappointed. It's a group of other individuals just like yourself.
If I had a friend considering joining Thought Leader, I would really ask them why they're stuck at the considering point.
Thought Leader is a tribe, but people who are passionate about leading well.
The one thing that I value about my experience so far with Thought Leader is intentional relationships and conversations with people who are going through the same struggles I'm going through, that we can share how to get through things together and grow together.
It's a really amazing opportunity to meet like-minded people who really care, and we're all going after the same thing, to have people be impacted.
Thought Leader to me would be community and just like a resource.
What I value most about being in Thought Leader is really the consistent community.
Thought Leaders has impacted my leadership style by being able to learn from others how to be a healthy leader so that I can lead our team in a healthy way.
I have learned to think about the people first, gear second. If the people are good, if the people are pastored well and stewarded well, everything else will fall into place.
If you value your health as a leader and your team and the way that they grow, to take the time that it takes to invest in these relationships is so worth it.
Beforehand, I might have tunnel vision, blinders on, you could say, from just things that I maybe wasn't able to connect with for various reasons, but hearing it from other leaders, having those conversations back and forth has opened up my view and allowed me to correct some things in my own ministry that has really taken it to the next level.
People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. Being in this group, being in this community has definitely shaped the trajectory of how I operate.
All Thought Leaders does is bring that potential to the surface. It helps you grow more and more, and it's free, so why wouldn't you do it? You have nothing to lose.
If I had one word to describe Thought Leader with, it would be community.
Life-giving.
Community.
It's encouraging.
Intentional.
Community.
Trusting.
Engaging.
I'm going to give you 3 words: church, production, family.
So if you serve in church production and Thought Leader sounds like something that you might be interested in, come join the conversation. We would love for you to. Again, the website is tl-connect.com. So, Chris?
Yes, sir.
Are you guys ready for another round of questions here? We've got them stacked up.
I think the guys are ready. You guys good for another round?
Let's go.
That's
I'm
right.
ready.
Let's keep going. All right.
Let's do this. Well, Brother Mark, I was glad to see you jump in here. He's got a great one for us. Mark from Houston, he asked, how do you lead up to leadership team that want to copy the look and feel from other churches rather than create your own look for your church. Often we seem to be moving more fad to fad. So,
Man, Daryl, I'm so glad that you're starting these segments off with the heavy questions so we can have an easy time during the rest of them. Like, this is a great question, Mark.
well,
I
this
love
one's been setting for a little bit, and I
Okay.
wanted to make sure that Mark got to hear us respond to it. So.
Definitely. So how do you lead up to leader? So I'm hearing in this, like, leadership is coming to him saying, hey, I saw XYZ church over here do this thing. How do we implement that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot there.
We kind of talked around it a little bit earlier.
Yeah. We as a staff try to, as I've touched on already, be knowing people in the area, seeing what churches in the area are doing, to get inspiration, to get ideas. I would say, actually, while we were in the break, the statement got made, something that might have been an idea born out of a vision for their church might not be the same vision for your church.
Yep.
I think that's so powerful on so many levels. But I think you first have to be in tune with your not only organization but congregation to ensure what they're needing. What is pastor asking for? What are the people you're pastoring needing? And on a creative side of that, then going and watching shows, seeing other churches, and you first have to build a relationship with your leadership so that when this comes up and when your pastor says, hey, I saw what Journey did, that's what I want for the next stage design. You have to already have that that relationship there, not a forced relationship because of pastor to staff or staff member to staff member. You need to make sure you've already laid the groundwork in that relationship to have equity in that relationship. To then you can say, hey, I love that. I would love to go talk to Kyle and see what all they did. But that worked for them. For that thing, for that moment. Let's see what they were thinking. Let's see what their thought process was and take it and figure out how it could help some of the things that we're doing, our identity as our organization.
Yeah, I think I would echo the same thing. I think it's a vision question. I think it's a going from fad to fad is just lighting. That's just what it is. We move from thing to thing. We go from Color Strike M lizards to big washes and everything in between. And we're seeing that happen consistently. Things are happening and shifting and changing. And the question would become, I think, and kind of what you had to say, Griffin, is the same, is like, well, how do we accomplish our context with that vision as well? Like, we have our own vision and our own heart and our own, like, look and feel. How do I take that, chew the meat and spit out the bones, and do the thing that's good for our church and for what we do? Just because these big churches are doing it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do. It's just the thing that they're doing and the thing that they chose to do on that moment. And it's okay to say, man, that looks cool and whatever, but I think the conversation has to become, how do we take that and push it into our vision and push it into what we do? Because, like, for us, like, we can see what other people are doing with big movers and all this other stuff and, moving LED wall around. But, like, our heart and our vision at Journey is, like, we want to have bigger LED walls so that iMag looks great when we go to messages at our broadcast campuses. So we're not going to break up the LED wall just because someone else did it. We're going to leave that as is because we put video on that, and that's why it's there. And so I think there's a common understanding as well with leadership there too. And I think there's a good conversation to be had of, like, hey, you realize that, like, if we do that, this is the cost. And this is why we don't do that. And this is why this, whatever
and I think going into those conversations disarmed, not going in like hoping to win the argument as you see it, but going in like disarmed with the information, with the data that you've collected to be like, hey, okay, here's what we're thinking. Here's what so-and-so did. Here's why Journey has a really big LED wall. They want to have a great playback surface, and that's awesome for them. And here's how I think that could help us, or not be in line with what we want to do, instead of going into that meeting armed, so to speak, ready to, like, have your reasons why it's going to work or it's not going to work. It just popped in my head listening to you talk about it, but I kind of almost makes me think of, like, marketing for an ad agency. Like, ad agencies, even Instagram, I mean, they're monitoring traffic, what people are staying on to look at, what's being swiped past, with TV ads, they're watching when are people tuning out, when are people tuning in. And in the same kind of way, I don't think there's anything wrong. That's not what we're trying to say with seeing what others do, getting inspiration, getting ideas, but it's then taking the difference is then taking what so and so did with their commercial, taking the data from it and why did people respond to it, and then figuring out how you can leverage that.
Yeah.
But in our context, in our world.
Yeah, and I think there's a piece of it that I think we've touched on, but people don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't know as much about teaching sermons and caring for people as much as my lead pastor does.
Yeah.
But I know plenty more about production than he does.
Yeah.
And it's bridging that gap. It's having those conversations of like, not like dumbing it down to do that, but like knowing your stuff enough to have those conversations with them and having that with so much grace, because there is a piece of like, well, also it communicates if you're just like, yeah, sure, like you're actually not doing your part of the job of learning and keeping up. Maybe there is a gap there, like maybe there's a gap in learning that they're seeing like, oh, we really want to see this innovation happen, but we're not seeing it. So now they feel the need to like, oh, we need to do this thing. And I'm not saying that's the case, but maybe there's a piece of it coming to them of like, hey, I saw this thing.
Yeah.
It doesn't really fit our vision, but like, here's a piece of it that we could kind of work into what we do, showcasing to them, like, I have eyes outside of this place and all of that stuff. But I think it's realizing like people don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
So filling the gaps with grace in those conversations, especially with leadership, is a big hot button topic.
Yeah.
That's great. That's a great way for but great answers from both of you guys. Those are great ways to address that. And Kyle, to your point, as you were talking, it made me think of like the parts of the body of Christ, right?
Yeah.
It's like the eye and the foot and the hand. It's like it's all needed. It's all necessary to make this thing called church happen.
Yep.
But we all have to work in harmony and work together to that same vision and that same end goal.
Good.
So
That's good.
Awesome. Daryl, we got another question lined up, I hear.
Yeah, we do. And I love this one because this is part of the heartbeat of Thought Leader, is being able to invest in each other, older generation to younger generation into the older generation. And this one comes from Ethical Hacker. I really want to know who this is. Think we know who this is, but what tips would you have for a beginner in live production lighting? What are the major goals of lighting, like mood, setting, etc.? So what tips would you have for a young lighting designer, programmer?
Use all the strike M's you
Less is more.
Lizard.
Less
That's
is
good.
more.
Less is
I think
more.
that's
That's a
the
good word. I like
give.
that. Yeah.
Just because you have all the fixtures doesn't mean they need to be on all the time.
Yeah.
How do you tastefully use your lighting rig? And I'm not saying there aren't moments where everything's on, but it's creating those moments of like, when you're in a verse, I don't need gobos in my face. You can tone those back.
Yeah.
So less is more. I think that's what I would give you. If you are building those layers in your programming and you're building those consistent pieces in your programming, you'll get to that high moment at the right time. But working it back to the beginning to your base look has to start with a place of like, okay, well, less is more. So how do I bridge that gap? How do I make that work?
Yeah.
Or just more strike M's. That's
that's always a good answer
That's
too.
a good option.
But,
It's always an option.
Yeah.
I mean, I try to follow music. I mean, we're hopefully lighting to me is creating an atmosphere that people can connect with, something that's engaging. Yeah. And so, in my opinion, what makes that work well is when you're just following and supporting what's already happening on the stage. And so, being musical, listening to the songs like you're a band member, being ready, being prepared, knowing what's coming, and then, using the less is more mentality, I think is a great way to go about it.
Yeah. I would argue sometimes as a lighting designer, you actually might need to know the songs a little bit more than the band does.
Yeah.
I would totally agree with that statement right there.
You actually need to know, if they want to go back into something, you need to know where they're going. You need to know what it feels like. You need to know that the calls are having that relationship with your MD. Having your MD in your ears is another thing.
Yep.
Knowing where the band is going. I know for us in our context, we will do a lot of like flow, spontaneous type worship stuff. And so training our lighting designers to know like, okay, well, you can jump back into a different cue, or here's some buttons that you can use, or just knowing your surface and knowing what's happening, but also knowing the music behind it is a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm going to give you a shout out right now, Kyle. You did a season of Perspectives with us.
I did
a while back, and I don't remember which episode number it was. I think it was on layering. Actually, you talked about not just physical layering of fixture layout and horizontal and vertical visual layers, but also layering your programming, which you made reference to that a little just a few minutes ago. And starting with the big look. Okay, I know this is where I want to end. So as I work backwards through the song, it's like, what element can I take away or change? Whether it's intensity, color, gobos, that kind of stuff. So how do I work that backwards to have a starting place, to have somewhere to go? Because there's 99 values on a fader between 0 and 100. Use them. Use all of them.
You paid for all 99 of them in between.
Yeah, I wish I could say that's original to me. It's not. I stole that from another designer friend. But use them all. You use all those different values.
I've never heard that working backwards. That's a
unique way to think about it, isn't it?
I got you.
I'm writing that down.
There you go. There you go. See,
Chat, I wrote it down.
You taught him something.
Look at that. We're here to learn.
Daryl, what do we have teed up next over there?
Yeah, I think this one comes from someone that might know Ethical Hacker, I think. But Brother Jonathan is asking a question. Learning method. Oh. Where do you go first to do research? I think we kind of hit that a little bit just in regards to the creative. But
I've got one thing, and technology is incredible. It's ever changing, ever evolving. And so I'm not saying I am endorsing this by any means, but I'm just going to share something that I've been doing recently that has been helping me with just research, just data collection. And that's actually, you might be surprised to know, we've been joking all night, but Chat GPT,
baby.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I trust it fully with data that it's creating for me yet. I'll just be very clear on that. But it is incredible at being able to gather content from the
mine
internet
other data from
use it for I'll use it for how many channel parameters is a color strike M. What's the power? I've done a lot of power stuff with Chat of you can literally go into Chat and say, like, I've got 8 R2Xs and a 20 amp circuit. How many of them can I daisy chain together? And I mean, it will do all the wattage pulls. And what I like is it shows you the thinking after it calculates it. So you could actually go back and learn while you were also pulling the research as well.
Learn what those formulas are and how you get your total amperage.
It's a little bit of a different answer, but
I think it, I was going to go the same route.
I got you on the Chat.
I think it can open up a huge can of worms that we can be here for hours. But I think utilizing it, I know of some folks who are essentially loading their manuals into it. And telling it what to do and what not to do, to the point where it's almost becoming like a person. Like you can like ask Chat what's going on, and it like answers the question, and it's not just like, well, did you turn it on? It's like it's like actually walking you through real steps and like real things at that location or wherever they're at. And I was like, man, like that's cool. Like using technology in that way.
Yeah.
But I think practically it's like I had talked about earlier, knowing your manufacturers, asking good questions, reading manuals. Just because the light is hanging and it works doesn't mean you can't learn. You can try it out, pull it off, do whatever. Like your service isn't going to be ruined. You can put the light back up. But like try it. Like what's the harm in trying, and just try to don't break it, but try to figure out some things out. And I've done that before where I've gotten to places where I'll just, I wonder what this does, or I wonder what happens here and whatever. And I'll do it and just see what happens. And then I know how to get back. It's just, trial and error and learning.
Right. Yeah. Just don't be afraid to push the button and try something new. If it works,
but
great.
make sure it's on beat if you're in a show.
Yes. Make sure it's on.
If you're not sure what's about to happen, do it on beat.
Do it on a down.
The first time I ever, this is a quick funny story. The first time I ever set up a sine wave effect on a Grand MA, it was on the Vipers in our auditorium, and I got a sine wave running, and then was coming from the hog world, if you're familiar, where you can just change the value and everything stops.
That's
and
not
so
the case.
A hog boy in a Grand MA world, I had no idea what stomp was or why nobody could say the word stop right. I didn't know why they kept mispronouncing it.
Why did they have an M in there? That's not
And
right.
so I spent about an hour trying to make it stop running an effect on the Vipers, which are lamp-based. So I'm sitting there thinking, my boss is going to kill me when he finds out that the Vipers have been running for an hour just for one sine wave effect. So I gather up all that I can muster in my humbleness and walk upstairs to his office and say, hey, boss, the Vipers have been doing a sine wave for an hour, and I don't know how to make them stop.
having the humility to ask the question, right? That's what we talked about that earlier. Don't be afraid to ask the questions.
Yep.
So, and he told you what stomp was, and then you now know how to do that.
And then he said, I'll go show you. And I said, okay.
Awesome. Cool. Daryl, I hear that there's another question in there. We've got a lot, actually. So
yeah. Brother Rudy from the West Coast. How do you identify your second and third tier production staff? Are they all from in-house, or are you hiring from without?
There you go.
So probably really the question is I'm thinking, how much of your staff is paid versus volunteer, and how much of it is full-time versus contract?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to go?
Go.
I was going to say, I mean, I think this is a personal belief that I have. I think any position that, we can put people in to serve in their local church is a great opportunity.
I agree.
So don't feel like you have to overstaff teams, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I mean, they're important. Have them there for a pastoral standpoint, have them there for a technology standpoint to manage gear and teams and, people and all the things. But this is more aggressive than I mean for it to feel, but don't take somebody's serve away.
Yeah.
No, that's
when you
good.
don't have to. I hear of so many churches and talk to churches that like they have, 100 contractors. And I mean, I am not scared to say, like, Church of the Highlands, if our production volunteers didn't show up on Sunday, we couldn't run even one campus on a Sunday. And that's not like, there's a lot of people who immediately, I feel like, kind of go the like, oh, you're just getting free labor routes. No, that is someone being able to find a way to express worship. When I sit at the lighting console, it is a form of worship to me. That's like deeper in a way that I really can't even explain than even, being engaged and not having to worry about a service. And so just don't take people's serves away.
Yeah. I think I would say the same. We are very heavy emphasis on our team, on our volunteer team. We call them the dream team. Because they're the team that makes the dream happen.
Yeah.
And so we have one guy at each location and everything else is volunteer. So we're running, anywhere from 20 to 30 staff or 20 to 30 volunteers in a given Sunday. And so I would echo that too, of like, don't, just because you think you need a camera operator there actually might showcase, like a staffed camera operator might actually just showcase that, like, you just need to train somebody to do it well. Anybody can understand framing if you teach them.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's a piece of that too, of like lean into training, lean into having your people come and show them how to use the gear, not on a Sunday morning or not under the gun of needing to get something done. But let them learn and let them fail, let them grow. And don't be afraid to like let people serve, because that's why we're here. I mean, that's my biggest thing. Anything I always say, just equip the saints for the work of ministry. That's one of my favorite verses in Scripture. It's just something that I live by, and I know that I pray that everybody else would see that too, that we're just here helping people just push other people to Jesus too, whether that's through lighting or through ProPresenter or just, holding the door, whatever that is.
Yeah.
Like we don't staff people to hold the door, so like it's like, what difference does it make?
Right. Yeah. I love that you talk about like creating a space, a space where folks can play.
Yeah.
And failure's an option. Failure's an inevitability when you're learning. It's going to happen. You're going to fail on something. Yeah. Technology's going to happen. Technology's going to fail, but people are going to fail when we're learning. And creating that space for them to, middle of the week during rehearsals or something like that, where it's okay if your framing's off or your focus is a little soft or, oh yeah, you totally missed the zoom on that.
No,
it's no big deal. It's but they get a few reps in on it. They're ready to rock for a weekend then after that. So cool. Awesome. Well, Daryl, we've got another question in there, don't we?
Yeah, so this question comes from Amanda, but before I pop it up, Amanda is one of two ladies who lead our Ladies Mentor Circle. Amanda and Lara have a circle that we have dedicated just for ladies who serve in church production. It's an amazing group of gals. We love them. I think they're probably 20 or something strong right now. So just so we put that out there, like, Thought Leader isn't just for guys. We are the community. We want and feel and be part of the community. And so we do have a space just for the ladies there. And so Sister Amanda is part of that. And she asked a question. She says, do either of you have colorful RGB house lights? And to what capacity do you use them if you do? Have you ever thrown effects on them during worship? Oh, that's a good one.
Effects on a house light. Okay, please.
And not got in trouble.
Right, yeah. And didn't have a conversation with senior pastor afterwards.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, if
tell me one of you has pixel mapped your ceiling in your room.
Yes.
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 My answer is no. My answer is a hard no. And my lighting guys know that that's a hard no.
And they're watching, so you need to say it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
On the effects side, or no to what part?
Effects.
Yeah.
Running effects.
No
through your
effects through the
lights.
house?
That's,
Okay.
No, sorry.
No.
Other people do it, and that's great. For me, I'm just like, no. Like, I don't run effects on my hi-hats at the house. So, like, what difference does it? What difference does it make? We do use color-changing house lights. That is something we do.
Yeah.
And I think that engages a lot more. It makes the stage kind of come out into the crowd and feel that. So I do love those, but I do not love running an effect. Maybe you have an alternate feeling.
No, it's very similar. We also have RGB color changing house lights in several of our rooms. And in our rooms that are older, don't, instead of having to spend, tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars to, change over to that, what we've done is we've actually taken old retired wash fixtures from other locations that we don't use anymore and have hung truss or pipe or whatever to kind of, add some color back into the room. Very similar for me. I always kind of give the illustration of, I don't want it to feel like there's an invisible barrier at the end of the stage. I want people to feel like they're a part of the experience, a part of what's happening. That's why we're there. It's what we're trying to create, and that's the atmosphere. And so we will do color changing to help, create that being a part of what's happening. But we're a hard no on effects. That would be, the day that I can go lizard on the house lights, we're going to be in trouble. I'm going to be in trouble also.
Yeah, you're definitely having a meeting after that service for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, I think we've got a couple more questions lined up, Daryl, right?
Yeah, we do. Squeezy ask, I remember maybe one of your key light package, but would be cool to hear what the key light package for Pastor consists of and what color temperature you run it at.
All right. How are you key lighting Pastor at Journey?
We are using R2X VWs.
Okay.
We are at 3 points, so we've got front, side fill, and then a back. Running our front at 5600 and our back at 338, I think it is.
A little warmer. Okay.
Yeah. Or no, sorry, backwards, the other way. 6,000. I think it's cooler. It's cooler on the back, warmer on the front. So, we're at, I think, 56 on front, and then I think 7 or 8. I can't remember.
Oh, really blue on the back?
Yeah, it's pretty cold.
Okay.
We've just found that we've liked that a little bit more. It gives a little bit more definition, stuff like that. Nothing too like technologically spoken, other than we just like the way it looks, and so
that works. Yeah.
We've toyed with changing the warmth on it, and we actually just did it for our women's conference. And me and the lighting designer looked at each other and we're like, nope, back to what we normally do. So that's what we're doing. R2X VW. Shout out.
Now, does your pastor roam around a lot? Do you have to do like a big wide general wash for him to keep up with him?
Yes, sir. Yes, he is running a marathon up there.
Gets his steps in during the message, huh?
Yes.
Cool. Griff, how are you guys doing at Highlands?
Very, very similar. We do 3 point for speaking, so front, side, backlight, and then we actually do some uplights as well. We've kind of a trough, a semicircle kind of front on our stage. Actually, using the On-Air Mini, which you're lighting us right now. Using it's the perfect example of using a fixture that maybe wasn't designed for something. I remember I talked to some of y'all early on when I heard about the light coming out. I was like, "Hey, what do you think about using it for this?" And you were like, "Huh."
I mean, it wasn't designed to do that, but let's play with it and see.
It does it.
Yeah.
So anyways, we're doing profile moving head fixtures, encore wash for our speaking wash. It's a softer kind of Fresnel lens to give you that really soft look for speaking. Very similar. My pastor's definitely not hitting marathon numbers, but he's walking a lot.
He's moving.
And so we have just, stage edge to stage edge wash. And using a profile fixture gives us crops as well. So we can kind of get the light off of some of the stuff I don't want it on, like the LED wall. 5,600 Kelvin.
Let's go.
About 6,500 on the back, slightly cooler, same idea. And then for our vocal wash, we have basically same line of fixtures, just different model, Encore Performance, which gives you a full tight beam if you want it, which we run a soft edge. I think a hard edge looks like you're at a theater, to be honest. It's a little weird. But it is 7, because we will run up to 7 vocalists. So at its max, there's someone with a light right in front of them, or they'll kind of split it in between if not.
And you're just doing single front on each of them, right?
Yeah, single front on each of them, no backlight or anything. We actually, a couple years ago, we were like tight crop on every single vocal position and then just, push the focus to make it soft. That was like, as a lighting production staff, that was what we wanted it to be like. And the vocalists were wanting to be able to kind of be a little more free to move around on stage. And so we ran into this really long drawn out battle of like, you have to stand on your spot, but I want to lead worship, and you can lead worship from standing on the X, and just like back and forth, and forth. And finally I ended up being like, okay, you know what? It's not this deep. I would rather you all be in the light and feel comfortable than you stand where I want you to stand. So we actually basically just took, the outside crops and opened them up to go from being 7 spots to just a wash across the front of the
Get
stage.
some more overlap in
Exactly.
between the zones.
Yeah. So we kind of remetered it a little bit to get it more of a, wash stage edge to stage edge, kind of like the speaking. Just runs a little darker too. So it's a little more intimate, a little less light thrown everywhere.
Yeah, we've been pushing harder for worship with side lighting. Using those side washes a little bit more to make it more dramatic feeling. But we're the same way. Our worship leaders are doing calisthenics up there.
They move around a lot,
running. And so we've actually used our front wash bar of the same VW, same color temperature and everything like that. We just have them at a lower intensity, just kind of like lightly washing the stage. Because as they walk back, naturally you're gonna walk in and out of light. But, just something to give them just a little bit of something that if they walk back, we can see them. But if they come up, they're perfectly lit.
But you rely heavily on those side booms though for that side light, that cross shot across your stage there for sure. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Well, Squeezy, hope that answers your question there on how these guys are doing their key light. So we've got one more question teed up here. So let's see. Let's end it on a great one.
Well, this is a good one from Phil.
All right.
He asked, in the last 12 months, what is something that has changed your thoughts about production or challenged you to rethink your preconceived notions? And why did it?
Wow.
Now we need some music.
Need the Jeopardy theme to play while the guys can think about the answer here. Yeah. That's a great question, Bailey.
I think I could speak to that. I think it's, for me, I think I've realized what great effect production has on the worship experience. But I think I've put, and this is me being just transparent, and I might be verbally processing as we go here, but
that's all right.
Here we go. Buckle up.
I think we've put too much emphasis on making it perfect that we'll actually miss what God's doing.
Well, that's good.
That we're so worried about making sure everything is like perfectly aligned and feels right. And what if they walk out of the light? What if the background vocalist who's on the right side, we love them, but they're not leading the song, they walk out of light? What does that mean for us? Like, whatever. I think we've overcomplicated something that God is intending us to just steward well. And I think that I think for me in the last 12 months, I think the Lord has been kind of reminding me, like, it's not like, I don't want perfection. I just want like humble servants that are going to serve me and do it well. I always tell our team, like, we're here to engage people and like enhance the worship experience. Like, we're not here to make anything flashy. And I think I shared it in perspectives, but like, if someone walks up to me and says, "Man, the light show was sick today," I actually did a bad job.
Yeah.
I don't want people to know, you know, like I want them to just feel that moment and then maybe go back online and kind of see it for themselves or whatever, or a picture or something like that and be like, man, that was really cool. But like, I think over the last 12 months, I think what's challenged me is I think I've put too much pressure on myself to be perfect for maybe a reason that I was putting on myself for no reason. I think I was putting it on myself because, you know, I'm on staff at the church. That's my job. Like, I'm expected to do that stuff. But humans are going to human. Life is going to life. It just is what it is. Mm-hmm. And we have to be able to let ourselves not get so caught up in the production elements that we miss what God's doing completely in the room. And I think I've been in that a lot. I think when failure happens, we all fall into that. So, losing power or, you know, sitting in a moment where you don't have everything together or something doesn't work or whatever, and you just have to roll with the punches, I think is the greatest reminder of that. Where like some of the most impactful moments of worship I've had is actually when the lights are almost completely off and, you know, it's just an acoustic guitar or whatever at someone's living room. Like it doesn't need all of the things. Yeah. But praise God, we get to do this stuff to make that experience better. So I know I'm like word vomiting, but I think overall, I think it's what I've learned in the past 12 months is like, we still need to pursue excellence, but we shouldn't make excellence like our idol. I think that's the word I'm looking for. It's like, we're not idolizing it to the point of like, oh, it needs to be perfect because X, Y, Z. Like God is just looking for us to steward the room well and do the right thing and let him take care of the rest. Like it's not up to us, you know, whatever that happens. So don't get caught up in the ins and outs of production all the time. I think there's moments for it, but I think there's a beauty in like being raw and making a mistake. You know, I had somebody, this actually reminds me, I had somebody come up to me, sorry, I'm long-winded. I had somebody come up to me a couple weeks ago. We made a mistake during the message and missed a slide, just completely missed it, just what it was. And somebody who is a friend of mine and a good friend came up to me and was like, I was actually happy because it reminded me that you guys are human back there. And I was like, I'm glad you think that because I'm ready to crash out. but yeah, so I think that would be my thing is like, it's don't lose sight of what God is doing just because it's your job. Like God is moving regardless of what we do. So it's like, why don't you just get caught up in that and not in the ins and outs of the thing that you're doing?
We just get to go along for the ride with him. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, follow that up.
Yeah, that's what I've been sitting over here thinking about. I think for me, one thing that I've noticed more recently that I hadn't thought about as much some in the past is serving production church. I mean, it's for everyone.
Yeah.
I think so often, we think of, and it's incredible, students that get an opportunity to be in production at a young age and dive in and explore. And I mean, they're so eager and creativity is there and that's incredible. But sometimes as well, even being there for people that you don't think need it in the way they need it. We've got a volunteer dream teamer that shout out that has been serving on our camera team for I think I'm getting this number right, over 15 years.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
I mean, longer than I've been at the church. He is in his 80s. He serves at least 2 Sundays a month.
Wow.
He is one of the first camera ops there on a day where he's scheduled. He will call me, text me during the week, ask me how I'm doing, the one on staff.
Oh, that's cool.
And, I mean, it's just like, and I don't know why I've been thinking about it recently, but I was thinking about it the other day, actually, and served with him yesterday at church on Sunday. That it's incredible that we get to be the body of Christ and have so many people coming in and out of our doors from so many different backgrounds and walks of life and ages. And you said it so perfectly, just to get to be along for the ride, honestly, of what God's doing and the way he's moving in our churches and in our organizations, and never let us for a second think that any of it became about us, became about the gear. just stay thankful that, we get the opportunity to kind of be along for the ride.
Yeah, we get to do this.
Yeah.
It's almost a little bit cliche, but it's really true. I mean, we are called to our different missions, and what we're doing.
Yeah.
But it's just great that we can be a part of that. So
there's a fair amount of honor in what we get to do.
Yeah.
Like, what an honor it is we get to steward
God's
presence for thousands and thousands of people on a weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, my pastor, my founding pastor, has a saying that he actually had a little sign made. It sits right beside the stage, right before he walks out on stage to preach. And it's kind of, it caught on at our church and amongst our team and even amongst our volunteers, so much to the point that our new buildings now actually put it in like 500 font on the back wall. But it's kind of crazy because it's on the back wall, the upstage side of the stage for all you church production people out there, the upstage side, and it's on the back side. So the production and the worship teams and even the pastoral teams have to pass it to go out in a similar heartbeat of kind of the original. But the original version of it was a little sign, side stage. My pastor would stand at it, and I actually have a photo of him standing at it with his hand on it. And the way he always tells the story is during our news package, he'll stand there, put his hand on the sign, and it says, "It is a privilege to be on this stage. Thank you, God, for choosing me." And his prayer is the same every single week. It's the same prayer. It is, "Thank you, God, for allowing me to be a part of this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to walk out on that stage if you don't go with me."
That's right.
And it's not mine, it's yours.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you want me to go do something else, be somewhere else, I'll do it. Just tell me. Otherwise, please go out there with me on that stage.
That's great.
And so we, in the same kind of way, try to lead our teams in the same way. Holy Spirit, please don't let me make it to the lighting console.
Yep.
Unless you go with me.
Right.
Holy Spirit, please don't let ProPresenter log in unless you go with me.
Yeah.
That's for multiple reasons. Pro Summon.
Amen.
But just having that heart of please don't let me even make it to my position unless you go with me.
Yep.
And just inviting the Holy Spirit in, even to the as simple things as running an audio console.
Yep. Yeah. And I think that's a great spot to wrap, guys. Thank you so much for sharing. It's been great to just sit down and chat and answer some great questions this evening.
Yeah.
Had a lot of fun doing it. So, hey, I just want to say thank you to everybody for joining us this evening. Huge
shout out to chat.
Yeah, a huge shout out to the chat. Huge thank you to a bunch of people in this room that you don't even see and know that are here. Thank you to Jeff, Adrian, Emma, Neil for all of their help in making this event possible and making this happen tonight. Thanks so much for joining us. Daryl, I'm going to flip it back over to you.
All right, man, I'll tell you what, those words there at the end were just, wow. I normally will wrap this up a little different, but I think what I want to say is thank you. Thank you for what you do. Serving isn't always easy. Hitting the grind isn't always easy. But dedication and focus and being driven, it's amazing. And so if you serve in church production and you want to just have community, reach out to people who are outside of your four walls to share ideas, to collaborate, or to just exhale. Come join the conversation. tl-connect.com. And just know that you are appreciated and loved. From Nashville, love you guys. Just remember to work hard and stay humble.